Disclaimer.
The video you are about to watch is not suitable for all ages, men, women, children, the weak-hearted, the strong-hearted, smartasses, dumbasses, tools, tards. Well, come to think of it, nobody should really be watching this. But before you comment and try to call me a racist and sensitive jerk, please note that although your opinion matters here, Degenerates, I would appreciate it if you reported all your complaints to IamExtremelyButthurt@gmail.com. For those who decided to watch the video anyways, despite the disclaimers, enjoy.
In a FIFA far, far away, there once was a man named Thomas Cleverley and his manager, David Moyes. Thomas, who preferred to go by Tommy, decided that he wanted to make a FIFA team all to himself, where, for once in his life, he could be the stud. So, Thomas decided to invite one of his childhood heroes, in Fernando Totti, to join his team. Fernando Totti was quite fond of his idea, so he told Tommy to invite his good friend James Milner. James Milner then decided to invite his friend Joe Cole, but to his surprise, Joe Cole was a lot slower than he used to be when he was younger, but still had the skills to pay the bills. Joe Cole was not very fond of this idea at first, so he decided to bring in a longtime enemy in Michael Carrick, just because he knew he could shit on him by comparison. Carrick, who knew what Cole's plan was all along, decided to invite his friend Aquilani, and make sure that he could probably show up Mr. Cole himself. Aquilani then decided to invite his friend Steven Radu. Not only was he a master race just like Aquilani and the rest of the squad, but he was also the heart and soul of Romania. Because let's face it, Romania basically sucks. To Steven Radu's surprise, he was one of the faster people on the team, and decided to invite another slow white friend of his, in Domizi, the center back from Udinese. Domizi, being the master race Italian that he is, decided that they needed another master race, so he invited his friend from Germany, Mertesacker Extreme. Mertesacker felt kind of lonely being the only German on the squad, so he decided to invite his friend Schasтерreither, because it just seemed right to have more Germans. As the team started to round out, Tommy soon realized that he was going to become the uncle of this team, because after all of his pupils were basically his subjects now. He knew that he needed to have a fantastic goalkeeper to make sure he didn't give up any goals. So, he decided to invite Morgan De Santis to join the squad. Now that Tommy's squad was finally finished, Uncle Tommy and his Cleverley bunch decided that they needed to go and try to face opponents and destroy them with their utter skill and work ethic and no athleticism whatsoever. So, there was a challenge, and they were willing to rise to it. Their first opponent was quite scary, to be honest, for they had their Premier League legend, and his name is Scott Parker, who Michael Carrick wishes he could be just as good of by the end of his career. As Carrick trembled in fear to the sight of Scott Parker, Aquilani knew he needed to carry the team on his back, so he was able to get a shot off only for it to be saved. As the team went into the half tied at 0-0, Aquilani knew he needed to come up with something in the locker room to try to win this game. Totti obviously felt Aquilani's motivation, and he decided to take on their team with an adequate amount of skills to pay the bills, only to hit the post, and followed up by Tommy Cleverley to hit the post as well. Eventually, Aquilani ended up finding Joe Cole, who also showed skills to pay the bills, and was able to get a shot off which led into a corner kick. And with that corner kick, who else but other than Aquilani scored the goal, making it 1-0. Though their opponents showed some fight, unfortunately, they were not able to convert on any of their chances. So the game ended in 1-0, and Tommy Cleverley was starting to think he had a pretty darn good team of white guys. Tommy quickly forgot about their last win and immediately decided to focus on the game that was coming up ahead. He saw that this team was quite a pacey one, and they had Ansaldi on the wing as well as babyface Babiani on the right wing, which he knew would turn out to be a handful for that slow white defense of his. The opposition started the match with a little bit of passing around the backfield, only to find the rather fast black man in Loic Remy wide open in acres of space, to which he was only able to push for a corner kick. But no, Gorkov finds Kabul on an uncontested corner kick for the nice easy goal, so the opposition was now up 1-0, and Tommy knew that they needed to get their shit together. Later on, James Milner ended up finding the still scared Michael Carrick, who took a wide open shot, but turned out to be hit with his purse rather than his foot. The team found themselves deflated going into halftime, losing 1-0, so they had to turn to their Messiah and Tommy Cleverley to try to get them out of this. Again, Fernando Totti came out of the locker room very motivated, and they decided to give them the bills that he pays with his skills. Unfortunately though, he shanks it. The FIFA gods once again blessed the opposition with another corner kick. Unfortunately, Kabul was able to convert once again, making the score 2-0. Tommy's Cleverly bunch was not so cleverly right now. Unfortunately for our heroes, it seemed that they were finally beat as the game came to an end. The 2 goals came to prove to be their demise. Their final opponents proved to be their toughest yet, backboned at striker with Diego Costa and their defense anchored by the Constant. So they knew they were going to be in for a tough one this match. As the first half was coming to a close, Michael Carrick found himself with a ton of space and ended up forcing a corner kick. On that corner kick, Murtasaka found himself winning the header, only for it to go wide of the goal, sending them into halftime. In the second half, the team showed a lot more heart, or should I say, Joe Cole, who is financially stable with his fancy feet, who scored a beaut, making the score 1-0. Despite Joe Cole's efforts, in the 90th minute, Murtasaka got caught fingering his bumhole, to which Marquisio was more than happy to capitalize upon it and score the goal. And so now the score is 1-1 as we go into extra time. In extra time, the opposition soon found themselves with a corner kick, to which they connected with PK, who scored the goal. Now, Tommy's Cleverly bunch is down 2-1. What will happen next? I'll tell you what happened next, with some beautiful passing from our midfielders. Totti soon found himself in front of the net, easily putting it in the goal. They are now tied 2-2. Unfortunately, Tommy's Cleverley bunch couldn't do anything else, so they had to go into penalties. The penalties started, and we scored first, then they scored right after. Then we scored again. Then they scored again. Then we again. Then they again. Unfortunately though, we missed it. But so did they. We, they. We, they. We again. They again. But then we missed it. And they didn't. Making them the victors. And Tommy's team the losers. One of these players needs to be replaced, so let me know in the comment section down below, and I will replace them next game. The only exception is Tommy Cleverley.